What's up, world? This is Carl Mays, the King Motivator, aka the Wedding MC. I gotta let you know, this is my 426th wedding here tonight. And I just wanna let you know, regardless of what happens, we're gonna make people have a great time. One thing that we always say is that people come to weddings, and when they go to the reception, they don't know whether or not they're going to stay. But if you love who you are, make some noise. The Wedding MC is basically an embodiment of something that's needed at a wedding. One thing I like is I like challenges. And when I emceed that wedding, it was such a fulfillment because I got to be creative. Is there a need for the wedding MC? Yes, I think there's a need for it. People don't know they need it yet because they've never seen it or had it. I sit down with them and let them know the psychology. The psychology is you have two families that don't know anybody in there outside of the people they came with or the bride and groom. And they're there to be able to blend and get to know other families. This is a mix and mingle thing because you're bringing two families together and you're blending them. So yeah, Wedding MC is going to be needed. Wedding MC is there to curate and create an environment to make people feel as comfortable as possible. Makes me feel, strong enough to be able to attack what this world has to offer every time I step inside my door. But the beauty about this one is that there'll never be like the Wedding MC. Again, my name is Carl Mays. You can find me, theweddingmc.net. I'll see y'all on the next one.
The Wedding MC Experience is a fun podcast hosted by professional wedding MC King Carl and his wonderful, super supportive better half and health enthusiast, Queen Misty. With more than 450 wedding receptions completed, King Carl has had his fair share of intriguing situations. However, this show isn't just about wedding shenanigans. This show features shared experiences on topics anywhere from life, love, and drama to success, health, family, and relationships. If you love true transparency from intriguing hosts to their most influential guests, then you're in for an unbelievable experience. What up, world? Man, we back at another one. I feel a little empty, but boy, they say God says it's a village out there. Let me tell y'all why.
Hey.
The wifey is out of town. She's doing a travel business. Shout out to Queen Misty. I'm still here holding it down. And you know why they say it takes a village? Because guess what? Even when you got couple friends that you hang with, man, you reach out and they step in when things seem a little blank. So I'm feeling a little light, because my name is not there. Then all of a sudden,
hey,
my sister from another mister.
Should have bought a Honda.
I called her husband and said, hey, can I use your wife?
Did you say it like that?
Shout out to Tristan, yeah. And he said, you need to call her. And I said, all right. So y'all, my co-host today, my guest co-host is my sister from another mister. That's right, y'all. CC Sutton is in the building.
Hey, world. Hey, world. Hey, world. It is good to be here in the land of the living. Queen Misty, we miss you.
Yes.
But I'm going to make you proud tonight.
That's right. It's going to be a shorter show tonight, y'all. We know, and the only reason I said it was going to be short, I didn't really share it with my sister, but, a lot of people kept saying, man, we want to watch it tonight, man, but the game coming on. I said, well, you know what? Don't worry. I got y'all. I know. Shout out to all those people that are NBA fans. But listen, right now we're going to give you a little something because some of y'all, your wives are back there watching TV in another room and you up front watching something. So you really got this challenge going on. And I said tonight we're going to name this Enduring the Down Moment.
I like that. And let me just say, you are making marriage great again by keeping that in mind.
Yeah,
okay?
Shout out to y'all. Right.
You're not going to belabor the point tonight. You're going to keep the families together in one room.
We're going to keep them in one room tonight. We
try
try to make sure we get them. So before they jump into the game or whatever, we say we're going to give them some nuggets. I knew nobody better to be able to enhance that would be CC Sutton.
I'm humble.
That's right. The wife, what did you call it? The wife coach?
The wife coach.
The wife coach is in the building,
right
y'all.
Right here.
So listen, wives, if you really don't know how to be, listen, this is somebody that's got it down.
Every day is a work in progress, but I'm going to share with you what I got. I'm not going to withhold from you what I got.
That's right, y'all. So, I mean, and I love it because, you take on the title, even if it's self-proclaimed or if people have told you that, whatever. The fact of the matter is you own it, and I love it.
Yeah.
So let's get ready to jump into something. We're going to go and talk about this. This is Enduring the Down Moments. And here's the funny thing. This is why I kind of thought of this too, CC. And I wanted to, I didn't want to send it to you early because I said, you know what, I don't want to think it. I wanted to be able to talk off top like she does because she's great at it, all right? So the biggest thing is this. people take for granted what marriage really is. They do it, but at the same time, they decide to get married when things are great. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I know that sounds kind of weird because we can name, why do people get married? Because they say they love each other.
I love him, and I got that feeling, and I feel like we in love.
Right? You feel like you feel,
and he do for me.
Right? Yeah. Right. While he can.
Why?
So, and the only reason I say that is because challenging times don't call you before it happens. It just happens, right?
It just happens.
So like issues don't say, hey, how you doing? This is issue. Listen, I'm just letting you know.
I'm coming.
I'll be there next week.
I'm coming for that work.
Right. You know what I'm saying? You be like, hold on, issue. Hey,
Let me get prepared.
Can you push that back about 3 weeks? Issues.
That's good.
They just kind of They just kind of happen. So, and when they do, and I'm gonna think of something kind of extreme, but let's just say, let's say two people meet. Mm-hmm. They both have great jobs.
Okay.
And let's say both over $100,000 apiece. So $200,000 household income. Let's just say things are great. I mean, they're both nice looking at each other. They love kicking it. They have a great time. They both don't have any children. Whatever the case may be, brings them together. They date. All of a sudden, a year later, he proposes. A year later, they get married. Life is grand. Life is great. All of a sudden, they buy a home. Oh, and they got the first baby on the way. Oh, things are great. It's rolling. Right?
Yes.
All of a sudden, in that 4th year, for whatever reason, the baby is a year and a half, and then all of a sudden, he comes home kind of drab, and she's like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Man, they just told me they get ready to do a layoff, and my department is definitely going first, and it's gonna happen in 3 weeks." And she like, "You know what, baby, we riding together. Don't worry, I got you. Things good, cool." So that goes good. All of a sudden, he gets laid off. He has enough, kind of 401k, and they gave him a package or whatever, so he's okay for a little bit, but. While he's doing that, he's like, and let me try to find something else. So he's putting applications in. He's trying to see exactly what the outcome is going to be. All of a sudden, it's 5 months later. He only has gotten maybe 2 interviews, and those were jobs that don't even match what he had.
Yeah.
So it's starting to mess with his morale.
Hey.
So morale's starting to change a little bit. The morale is changing, and then when the morale changes, sometimes the intimacy changes.
Absolutely.
And then she starts to feel a little neglected. And then they start to have those challenges. And she's also feeling a certain kind of way because she is carrying most of the load now.
Yeah.
And then he's feeling that she's feeling that. And then, right. So these are, the story can go on, but y'all get where I'm going.
It is a great snowball.
Right. And so what happens is if people are hearing this, and some of you may be going through it or went through it or whatever, the biggest thing about it is I always say just welcome to marriage.
This is it.
Welcome to marriage, because this is part of it, right?
Ta-da.
It's what we signed up with.
That's
and then
right.
brings us to the point of saying, for better or for worse, for richer or for poorer, through sickness and in health. And I only gave an example from a financial standpoint.
Right. But it's so much more.
Right. So, brings me to this question in saying that. How, from the wife coach, do people endure the down moments?
Look.
That was heavy.
But you painted the perfect picture. That is the most common picture. And actually, that's one of the more common reasons for why marriages end. We all know. Finances, kids, a plethora of things.
Right.
But looking at it from this standpoint, how in the world do we get through this? First of all, I'm going to tell you, if you did not take any kind of wise counseling in the beginning, you have no way to be prepared for the blows that come in life.
That's
okay?
right.
So if you went into this thing and was like, oh, we in love, we happy, it's going to be all right because we had a beautiful wedding, you already setting yourself up for failure. The best way to be prepared for things, just like with hurricane preparedness, is to be prepared, right?
Right.
So you have to know, you have to be equipped, you have to have the real scoop on what marriage is probably going to bring you.
So in saying that, because Dr. D was on here last week, and one of the things he talked about is that, some people are choosing counselors that are not effective or efficient. And that's deep.
Got to do your homework.
Yeah, you got to do your homework. I think that is a very, very important key. And he said, and believe it or not, 1 and 2 sessions are not going to do it.
It's really not, and I'm glad he said that.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people are just looking at it as a checklist. Oop, did that. Okay, let's go. Let's hop the broom.
Right.
I know Tristan and I personally, we went to like 3 different. We went to the Catholic ones. We went to the Baptist ones. We went to everybody we could sit in front of to really understand. Okay, what exactly is this we're signing up? Because I know I really like him and love him.
Right.
But what's the real scoop on this?
Right. Because we don't know. The last episode was about, there's no instruction manual. And people really don't know.
That's right.
But I think that the trend or the fashion fad, is to get married at a certain age.
Right.
Or when people feel like their peers, that's what people are doing now. And they go into it, even more, kind of disconnected.
Absolutely. I think we're more worried about the trend than the truth.
That's what I'm saying. Oh, hey, I like that.
Gonna
the
hashtag
trend
that.
Than the truth.
More about the trend than the truth, and
Yes.
the truth eventually it's coming regardless
That's
if
right.
you want it to
That's
or
right.
not.
You can't dodge it. You can't deny it. I think there's also this false sense of reality that starts to take place before people do it too.
Absolutely.
Let's just say there's some single people out there right now, and they know of some couples that are friends of theirs that are really going through it. That are, and they say to themselves, man, when I get married, man, that's not how I'm gonna.
Right. That ain't gonna be us.
Right. Right. So they're saying it, but we don't get to pick and choose. Like you don't get to, man, what would that look like if you could pick, issues like, hey man, we going to this issue party Saturday. And man, I'm gonna pick the right issues, man, and set me up for 2018.
We already prepared,
man. I'm like, people should go to them. Go to issue part. Like, oh, I like that issue right there. I know we can overcome.
We got that one,
easy.
babe.
Yeah, right.
Wouldn't that be nice?
That would be dope. But unfortunately, that's
party.
not the way issue party.
No,
that's unfortunately not the way it is. And I think that. If you get away from all of the cloudy aspect of trying to put this thing together a certain kind of way, and you really look at it for what it's worth, I always say this: ultimately, you've chosen a person that you said, regardless to what the weather is doing, regardless to what life is doing, or, our perils, our challenges, whatever. I'm saying this is the person that I know is going to ride with me.
Right. Let me ask you, did you and Misty kind of put together like a little hurricane preparedness little toolkit? Like when this issue comes, this is how we're going to handle it. And if y'all did put that together, have y'all stuck to it?
I don't think we put a little kit together, but I think we had our own personal pack outside of, definitely we got a spiritual pack. But I'm saying I think I learned something about myself in past relationships that I have abandonment issues.
That's good.
And
the fact that you can admit that as a male here in this time is so crucial.
And I learned that, my mom and dad, when we were younger, had, a moment where they split up.
Yeah.
And that bothered me, and I never knew it. I never externalized it. And I never knew it. But as I got older, I always said that I would never do that to my family.
Yeah.
As far as leaving, right? So that's my own personal pact. Like I'm locked in. I'm like, my own personal pact says, no, I'm not going to do that. But here's the thing. I got to a point where I said to my wife, before we even got married, I said, look, I'm just going to be real with you. I got abandonment issues. So if you get to a point where you just stop liking me, let's just say you tired of my jokes. They're not funny no more. Your smile don't have that deep crease in it. It's got a light crease in it. That means you really smiling just to be appeasing me. You know what I'm saying? Let's just say you just weathering the storm. If you just get like that, just don't leave me. And she's like, I say, look, just don't leave. Just go to another room. Just don't. I said that.
That's real though,
right? Because I was like, because I think for the most part, I know people grow. Some people grow apart. Some people grow together, and we're constantly evolving,
ebbing and flowing.
Right?
Yes.
And that's right, ebbs and flow. And if we're constantly evolving, then the reality of it is that if you're in for the long haul, you said I'm gonna go before these witnesses,
right?
And I'm going to listen to these vows that are read from a spiritual standpoint, based on what we stand for.
Yes.
And when it gets to your part, and you have an option to say I do or I don't.
That's it.
And if you said you do, you saying no matter what the weather looks like, no matter what kind of challenges, height, darkness, the thick, slim, whatever. The evolution that takes place, you saying you in the game for it, for life.
That's it.
So I'm riding with you, and I'm saying I'm going to say the same thing because it's going to be read back to me. So at the end of the day, that's how vital that is. And I think that people get to a point where they forget that.
Right. That's
so our our aspect was more of a pack like that. Like, you know, I'm in it. I'm in the game.
I like that. So not so much a little kit, but at least a pack. So when things went down, you knew, hey, remember what you said in that pack? I can get with that.
Right. And you know, and then one of the things she said to me before the pack and all that is that she was like, my word is my bond. You know what I'm saying? You know, and I think, you know, people don't never want to go through a point of where they have to retract something, because you said no matter what, not just what you're saying about us, but you know, let's just say you told your homegirl, you know, she had a flat tire. You're like, girl, I'm gonna be there. I'll be there at 10 o'clock, and no matter hell or high water, she like, I'm gonna get there because my word is my bond. Right. So in that example that she similar to that she had given me, you know, I'm like, okay, her word is a bond. Right. You know, and I'm like, you know, that locked me in. I'm like, man, because mine is like that. You know, there are some people that are more talkers than they are doers.
Absolutely. And for those who have ones that they can't exactly trust the word of their man or wife, I'm, you know, gonna be honest, you might need a backup plan. That backup plan might once again be outside. That's right. Wise, and I always stick wise in there. Wise counsel. That's right. I'm gonna be honest with you. You don't just need it on the front end. You need that. That's right. All the way through.
That's right. And right. And you can't listen. You can't be in marriage sometimes. You can't treat it like a class. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, girl, I'm gonna go to this class Monday, Wednesday, Friday. It's from 2 to 3:30. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna go to this marriage from 2 to 3:30. But girl, look, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, I'm kicking it.
Hey,
bitch. I'm gonna do this. Listen, y'all, let's go into a little break. It's the Wedding MC Experience. My co-host CC Sutton, y'all. Here. My wifey is out of town. Shout out to Queen Misty. I am King Carl. Y'all sit tight. We're gonna run through this break real quick. We'll be right back.
What is the Wedding MC? I'm glad you asked. Well, first of all, I am not a DJ. I don't play records. I am a master of ceremonies, one who truly moves the crowd. The Wedding MC is the most extraordinary personality that will light up the crowd, entertain your guests, and make your wedding reception as fabulous as it deserves to be. With over 450 wedding receptions successfully completed and over 10 years of experience in the wedding industry, you can be rest assured that I know exactly how to deliver your dream wedding reception. From our very initial contact, I'll go the full length to understand the goals of your wedding reception and make sure the preparation is delicate through shared ideas so that you are provided with the perfect wedding reception. This will be memorable for all of your guests. As an incredibly passionate, experienced, and dedicated MC, I prefer meeting with my clients in person and being able to comfort you with a feel of my level of experience, energy, and personality. You can have all the bells and whistles, the tallest cake, the most adorable tuxedo and wedding gown, but if you want a reception where people enjoy themselves so much that they tell everyone they know, then you need the Wedding MC. It can make the difference between having a reception or having a spectacular reception. So sit back, relax, and enjoy your special night while I take care of providing you and your guests with an evening you all won't ever forget. Get your wedding booked today at theweddingmc.net or call 323-834-8962. Remember, your reception, my voice. Your atmosphere, my personality. The Wedding MC.
What up, y'all? We're back. The Wedding MC Experience. If you saw the commercial, y'all, that's right. Get your wedding booked now. If you don't know, I am the only standing wedding MC in the country that does what I do. And MC means MC. Moves the crowd. I definitely am some that's a master of ceremonies. I am the Ryan Seacrest of weddings.
Oh, I like how you put that.
Yes. So people are still trying to call me a DJ. No, I don't play records.
Ricky.
Yep. I don't collect music. I don't bring a laptop.
Ain't no vinyls.
Right. I travel with a $1,500 microphone. So you need me at your wedding and you don't know it, you know somebody getting married, definitely make sure you send them to theweddingmc.net, theweddingmc.net. And yes, my sister will eventually be one as well. So we're going to get us started. So
you better speak it on me.
That's right.
I just have to put this plug in though, y'all. I've seen the king rock some parties, some weddings, and no doubt about it, he got me up here wishing that we could get remarried. I mean, he really puts it on, and he takes it from start to finish. If you're about to get married or know somebody who's about to get married,
that's right.
this your guy.
That's right. That's right. You need me. So listen, we were talking about, the importance of vows and, how people get through, endure some of those downtime. But we want to make sure, I want to address one of the questions that somebody said. What was that question?
Her question was, how long should you be separated if you have to separate?
Whew. I don't think that there's a limit on it, but I think that there may be a statute of limitations that just is unspoken. So I think it just depends on the tenacity of the relationship itself.
Can I elaborate on her question and maybe ask, instead of the length of time, maybe how should we go about handling this separation? Like, what's
because
the rules?
There's so many variables in it.
Yeah.
Separated while still living together, maybe a little bit, there may be a daunting task to get through to be able to get back together, but it can happen.
Yeah.
Separated while not living together puts a heavier strain because, the more, I always say out of sight, out of mind.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the more space that comes, the more allowable space that comes in between, people that are trying to salvage and truly bring it back together.
Right. I would agree with that. And not to say that this will ever happen in our household, because Sutton ain't having it. But I would imagine if we did have to have this little separation thing, I mean, maybe he'd move downstairs with the dog.
Right.
I'd be upstairs, doing my thing. I don't know, T. Let me know if that's okay. But I think that's how that would hopefully go, because you're right. That time, that space.
But you know what? I also know this, and this is just from me counseling a few people. Anytime you run into people that are not communicative, then that becomes the majority of the strain of why they can't get back together.
That's it.
Not only that, if they are communicative, then you have to find an amicable space to be in.
Right.
Because when people are at a point where they feel like they have to be right, it's going to be very, very different.
Right.
I always think that somewhere along the way you have to be at a point where you kind of pipe down.
That's real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
And then constructive criticism is also another element that becomes very, very hard for people to digest. You know what I'm saying? Like you could probably take constructive criticism from me because I'm your friend.
Right.
Faster than you probably could your loved one.
Absolutely.
You get what I'm saying? Because your loved one,
it's
telling
hard
you
right here.
Right. It's like piercing.
Yeah.
They
know how to push some things that maybe somebody that's a friend, or maybe it wouldn't even matter to me if somebody else said it.
That's right.
That's real.
That's exactly right. So so there's so many elements to that, but I don't think that there's a particular limit, on how long.
But you just said something key here that I think that we don't put enough emphasis on. The root of all of this here is, do we know how to communicate with one another through these tough times? And not just talk, but do we really know how to communicate through these rough times? And I would say maybe a lot of us don't.
That's what I'm saying. So there's so again, that's part of the no instruction manual.
Yeah.
One of the things we say that the thing that brings people together, let's just be completely honest and just take the elephant out the room, is appearance.
Yeah.
There are a lot of unintelligent, great-looking people.
Hey.
There are a lot of intelligent, not so great-looking, to people. But the thing that brings people together is energy and complete appearance.
Yeah.
For whatever it's worth, good or bad, whatever you like, whatever the case may be, that is the connecting part. Now, once that connection is brought together, whether it's sustained is probably by the conversation, or, and you may have a higher, bar that you rate people on based on communication than some people. So this lady can say, "Oh, my husband communicates well, but he really can't talk." You know what I'm saying? You like, girl, I was expecting eloquence, but I got, yeah, nah, what's up? I just like to talk. Well, you don't need to like to talk. So I mean, tomato, it's a perspective. But however, I think that the thing that brings people together is some kind of likeness and some kind of, formulative in the environment. It could be the same surrounding of people, whatever. But those are normally the things that bring people together. The thing that sustains people together is where it gets questionable. Right. And then there are some people that, are not transparent initially. And people not being transparent, people buy that. You know what I'm saying?
Talk about it.
There's a
This
guy
world of
right
social
now
media.
getting ready to watch the game. He's at a bar, and all of a sudden, this beautiful lady is coming up right now as we speak. And she's like, oh, my God. And he's like, And all of a sudden, he, says, what are you drinking? And he says, get her next round on me. But at the end of the day, he's in a dark place. She's in a dark place. Because 9 times out of 10, if you're in a dark place, the energy you give is the energy you receive.
Yeah.
So they kind of like each other. But you can't see the dark place because they're both beautiful to each other. And they're getting ready to be able to do all kinds of lies. Like, I'm in school, but he ain't telling her he failing.
It's real.
You know what I'm saying?
That's real.
He
about to put
like,
a whole lot of foolery.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Right. You know what I'm saying? She's like, oh, what you majoring in? He said engineering, but he ain't been in class since last semester. I mean, it's all kind. It's just, I'm going to paint this picture because the one thing I'm trying to control is this narrative to get to the end result of appeasing myself.
That's right.
And 9 times out of 10, she already like it anyway. So whether or not he tell her the truth in this moment is not important. Right, it's not important any damn way. Because girl, I'm just liking the fact that he conversating with me. I'm in a dark place right now. This is beautiful. So this is what we up against.
That's
and then
it.
at the end of the day, you have to try to retract all of this if it gets to a mode of seriousness.
Yeah. If it gets to a mode. But what happens if it does and it's all built on that line in the first place?
My point exactly. So now people are unveiling, trying to be able to be the real selves. And it almost doesn't work. Right. Because now we're at a point where we don't get along. We're separating.
Yeah.
But we're in the same household. Now I can't really stand it.
Yeah.
Because when I met you, you didn't tell me all this up front. Now I'm really resenting you.
Yes. Resentment.
Right. And now that I'm resenting you, I'm at a point like, I feel like I done bought some wolf cookies. Because I bought this. I bought your representation. I bought the representative. I thought you was better than this.
This is happening every day across the world. That's
what I'm saying.
Especially with social media.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying.
Especially with social media. But back to your original point about how to handle this madness when it comes. What I'm hearing is, number 1, be prepared. Number 2, know how to communicate.
Right.
And what's our third one that's going to bring it home?
I just think, it's a lot that can fit in 3.
It is.
But I think that ultimately is just complete transparency.
I like that.
If people are transparent, I think we can possibly get through some of those dark times. Here's the thing. Life is a roller coaster when you're by yourself. Marriage is a roller coaster when you're with somebody, because at the end of the day, you have to see the other person as you see yourself.
That's right.
So a nugget before we get out of here, I got to give y'all this. Listen, the nugget is this. If life is a roller coaster and you got to see the other person as you see yourself, you have to ask yourself, when you feel like you're ostracized or feel like you're at a point where you feel suffocated, you have to ask yourself, would I cuss me out?
Oh.
Would I slap me?
Oh.
Would I do me wrong? Would I leave me? And see, if you see everything like you see yourself, then you have to see the other person as you see yourself.
That's good.
And that keeps the moral foundation intact. And as long as it keeps it intact, those extreme situations that you come to as far as separating for long periods of time or, moving out and all that kind of stuff with the right of value of eventually trying to come back together, all of that won't be such a daunting task. But when people get to a point where they disconnect and they say, I really just don't like her, or I really just don't like him, then 9 times out of 10, they are completely disconnected. So working on it is not going to happen anyway.
Come on, Reverend Carl.
That
was a word.
Yeah.
But that was a word right there. I like how you said, would you leave you?
Yeah.
Would you curse at you?
Right.
Would you hit you? The same thing applies in your marriage.
That's right.
Or in your relationship.
That's right.
It really does.
And it says a lot, on the language we use. There's a reason that I call Queen Misty, Queen. And, Queen CC and, King Tristan. I just think that all of that is so important, to be able to use those positive affirmations, those words like that.
Is daddy okay?
Your dad is good.
I can use daddy?
Yeah.
Okay.
You call your husband daddy.
We good.
And all that's good. If that's the way you communicate, because I think it's all edification.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Those are proud words that are great.
Yeah.
Y'all listen, man, we out of time, but listen, CC, we're going to get you back next week.
30 minutes was not fair.
We gonna get you to come hang out with me and Misty next week, y'all. I know it's 30 minutes. I know people are getting ready to jump in the game. Listen, people, those that are watching, whether it's on CC's phone and on our live feed and all this, listen, this goes up on YouTube. Tomorrow is going to premiere at 7:00. It's also going to be on all the podcasts, TuneIn, Spotify, YouTube, but definitely all the podcasts on your phones, Google Play. Y'all just look up the Wedding MC Experience. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram, the Wedding MC XP, and definitely shout out to Queen Misty, y'all. Those that are new to us or whatever. My wife is not here, but she'll be back in the city the next time we do it. We're gonna definitely have CC back in here. I'm calling that right now.
Come on,
you get back in, touch and agree. So we'll be back in here once again, y'all. I am King Carl, and this is CC Sutton.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Shout out to Tristan. Shout out to everybody. We'll see y'all on the next one. Shout out to Damn Show got a shout out Mike holding us down and the Sphere Studios, y'all. We'll see y'all in a minute.